Hello, this is a quick tutorial to show how to do some basic formatting for MLA formatting for my class and for my students. Now, we will be using Google Docs, and here in Google Drive I've created a new document. It's an untitled document, and here it is. So if I type in a student's name, your name in your case, and from this window write the name of the teacher, all of the heading, the title of the short essay, and the text, we end up with some text here that I've just copied and pasted. Because this is simply a formatting video, we're just going to focus on formatting. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that the document has proper margins. So you go over here to the upper left-hand corner to the File menu, and then down to the Page Setup. In each case, you want to make sure that the margins are 1-inch margins. So you select that text, type 1, and then you can select the Tab key, and that'll just move you to the next field. Select 1, Tab, 1 inch, Tab, 1 inch. Now the margins are all 1 inch on all four sides. We select OK. There you can see that the text has now been confined to the 1-inch margins. The next thing we're going to do is the type and the font. So one way to select all text, a shortcut, is to use the Control key and the capital A key, or the A key, together. So Control and then A will select all text. Then you go over here to the font and you select, in this class, Times New Roman. Everything will change to Times New Roman. Then you select the font size and we will select 12. So now all of the text is in Times New Roman and at 12-point size. The next thing we're going to look at is line spacing. The line spacing is supposed to be double space. Here there are a couple things that are to be worked on. There's the line spacing itself and the buffer between lines. So what we will do is we'll go over here to the line spacing button. It is an up and down arrow with some lines over here. So select line spacing. You can see that the current line spacing is at 1.15. Usually single spacing is what you would normally see, and we want to change it to double space. You'll also see that there is a remove space paragraph, which means that some of the line spacing has a buffer after it. And you can always tell that there's a buffer when I'll go ahead and make this a single space, just so that you see. Single space will remove the space. You can see that when we select that text, there is no space between that name and the name below it. There's no space. But here, if we select this text, you'll see that there is space right here. So you know that there's a buffer between those two lines. So what we will do, I'll go back. Again, Control A will select all of the text. We will make all of the text double space. And then when we go in, and we will remove the space after the paragraph. So now all of the text is double spaced, and there is no spacing in between those lines. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our title, our heading. Should be a period after that. And the heading has all the words capitalized. I did not do that when I came up with this example. There we go. All the words are capitalized. We will select all of the text. In this case, you can, to select a line, you can triple click. So one click will give you will put you the cursor where you want it to be. A double click will select the word. A triple click will select the entire paragraph. There we go. And since this heading is the entire paragraph, it centers it. Up here are the justification or alignment buttons. Justify left. If we want that text to be all the way to the right, it'll justify right. And here we want it to be centered. So headings are centered, and we've just centered this heading. The next thing we want to do is we want to make sure all of our paragraphs have a 5-space indent. One easy way to do that, of course, is to put your cursor at the beginning of the paragraph and press Tab. That will give it an indent. But what that means is you have to do the same thing for every paragraph. One easy way around that is to select all of your paragraphs And once all of your paragraphs are selected, you can simply change the indent up here on the ruler, and now all of your paragraphs will be indented. The next item is the heading, and this one is always a little bit confusing. There's a few ways to go about doing it, but this is the way that I'll do it. We'll go ahead and we will insert a header and page number. So we'll go ahead and insert the page number. We want this selection which puts a page number on the first page. This selection starts the page numbering on the second page, but we're going to start it on the first. So I'll select this option. And a couple things are worth noting. One is the page number is way at the top and it needs to come down sort of in the middle of that header. The second is that you can see over here it is an Arial font and it's 11-point font size, and both of those need to be corrected. So since you're in the header space right there, you can just simply select everything like that with your cursor, or you can just Control A, select all. It'll just select what's there in the header. Let's go ahead and change our font to Times New Roman, our font size to 12, and now let's go ahead and get in front of this page number, and we'll type the last name of the student. In your case it would be your last name and a space, and then we'll go back in front of that name and we'll hit the enter key twice, or actually just once is fine. And there we go, we've got it in the middle of the header, and you can see when you click on that header that it has a gray shading to it. That means that this is a field that will recreate each page, and if we scroll down we'll see that it has put in the number 2 for the second page. Perfect. So we'll click outside of that header, and now here are a couple of additional items. If we are working on a paper that has a works cited, this is another heading, and so we will want to also center that heading. These are citations, and these have a different format. Rather than indenting 5 spaces on the first line, we apply a hanging indent, which means that it begins at the edge of the page, and then all of the lines below are indented 5. So here I've selected the text, I come up here to the ruler at the left indent, and I drag with that little triangle pointing down, I drag everything over to the 1/2 inch margin. Everything moves over. Then I go up to that tiny little rectangle above, and you see how it separates out? And I bring it back to the edge, and now I've got a hanging indent. The first line starts at the edge of the page, and then all of the lines below are indented. The last item I'm going to have you try out is called inserting a footnote. So let's say we want to see how many words are in this document. We want to count the words. One easy way is to select all of the text right there. We go over here to Tools and Word Count, and we click on Word Count. So we see that this is 321 words in this document. So what we can do on this assignment is I can put a footnote right there at the top of the assignment. I put the cursor right there, insert a footnote, and here we can say 321 words in this assignment. We can see that this is an Arial font, so we can go ahead and select that and convert that to Times. Now it's consistent. And so now our footnote up here refers to the note down below. One last item, and that is titling the document. In this class we're going to use this naming convention. Specifically, we will put the last name, a dash, the name of the assignment, and then the draft. First draft. So then when we go back to the document was created, it will be renamed. And that's how you do a quick MLA formatting.